Mai ngā wai rarapa o te karu o te ika māui, ki te tāpere nui o whātonga ki te nōtā, ko ngā pai maunga o tararua ko tōku korowai, ko ōku tapua e ki rangi whakaomauma, ko wairarapa te moana, ko ngā tika hungunu ki wairarapa, ko rangi tāne ngā iwi, tēnā koutou, kia ora anō tātou katoa. Ko te atahia hurihanga nui tēnei mō Kahurangi, ki runga ia Arrow FM i tēnei ata te paraere te toru te kau o Hūrai rua manorua te kaumatahi, ko te kaumatahi haora o te ata. Hello everyone and welcome back to Kahurangi at Arrow FM. You're here with Te Atahia Hurihanga Nui, also known as Tahia, from Reorua. I'm presenting the Kahurangi program. This is session number 6. We're here on Friday the 30th of July and it is 11 a.m. I do apologise for the slight delay in starting this morning. We're 15 minutes in already. We've had some lovely guests in the studio. Anō rere, ko tēnei te mihi kau... te mihi nui me ki, te mihi maioha ki e nā manuhiri i konei i Arrow FM i te ata nei, a tēnā koutou. We are in the middle of an interview at the moment, so I do apologise for those of you who've been waiting for me, and I will put another apology on our Reorua page. Kahurangi is all about connecting us, the people, ngā tāngata, ki o tātou kōrero, to our stories and our histories, ki o tātou ake tuakiri, to our own identity and cultural heritage, as well as to the kahurangi of this community. If this is your first time tuning in, kahurangi is not just a colour, and it's not just my favourite colour. Kahurangi is a way of explaining and describing something that is precious, that is treasured and that is prized. And if we were talking about tangata or people as kahurangi, we're talking about the people who can share their own expertise, who have something to give, a skill, an ability, an attribute. Maybe it's some form of knowledge or wisdom, and that's what this program's all about. I've been trying very hard to get some kahurangi into the studio over the past few weeks with very little luck. However, we did have our lovely whanaunga Sophronia Smith in last week, and I believe she has had some kōrero as well here in the studio. You will be hearing her voice over the next few weeks in regards to the Te Kaumā Iwa, our community hub for the vaccination rollout, tēnā koe te tuakana. And like I've said in past, I am waiting to connect in with our kaumātua Uncle Ra Smith or Rawiri for Ngā Tika Hungunu ki Wairarapa and Uncle Mike Kawana. But until we wait for their availability, and they are very busy, so I do acknowledge that, I'd like to just kick us off with our theme song, Ko Wairarapa Tēnei. This is Wairarapa Moana. Tēnā tātou.
Marama
Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hi a kia nā te atākura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei mauri ora. Tēnā no tātou. Kua karakia tia e au mo te ata nei, he kai kōhau hoki tōku. So if we go back to sessions number 2 and 3 and our maramataka matariki knowledge sharing, we spoke about the kai kōhau that our Te Taura Whiri o Te Reo Māori, our Language Commission, has been sending around. And I'd like to just start this morning with that kai kōhau as a whakanoa, as a balancing act with our karakia. Ko te kai kōhau nei I te reo Māori. Nau mai ngā hua, nau mai ngā pai, nau mai kia nui, kia hāwere ai. Tihei mauri ora. Welcome in all things great, all things big, with abundance and prosperity for the year ahead. Tihei mauri ora, a sharing of breath. Tēnā tātou. And that was just an acknowledgement of setting the scene, replenishing our vibrancy and our mauri, our life force for the morning. And kai kōhau can do that as well as karakia. And what I love about the kai kōhau, of course, is it's the uttering aloud of wishes and desires. The great thing about this particular resource, if you go on to a Reo Māori website, or Te Taura Whiri has the link, of course, you will find this one kai kōhau in about 40 languages, I believe, with the video, the audio, and the lyrics. If that is something you're wanting to share with other communities of other languages. Tēnā no tātou. So last week, just as a recap, we looked at, we listened to some beautiful stories of our atua, ko te atuatanga me te wairuatanga. We started with some stories of some really important entities in Te Ao Māori I te timatanga, the creation story, and we're going to continue that today using the Rangitane version. We went into the kupe story of Rangitane, so placing us here in this land and the arrival of our tupuna, our ancestors, to here, using the wonderful words of Jopo Tangaroa from Rangitane. We had a couple of guests, Sophronia, as I mentioned earlier, as well as my beautiful son, Mario Castorina. And when I say last week, I meant last session. I'm just mindful, actually. Last week, I was at home with my son, Mario Kapua Castorina, who you all met over the airwaves. Unfortunately, he was a little unwell with a cold, and it takes me back to that moment, that memory of us sitting at home with a little bit of a cough, so we decided not to kind of be out in public spaces, but we did decide instead to go and heal in Te Wao Nui o Tāne, in the forest of Pukaha, Te Tapere Nui o Whātonga, just north of Masterton here, what was once called Mount Bruce. And we decided to go and have a walk into the bush and clear the airwaves by the airways, rather, with the sounds of our manu, ti oriori, of the birds above us. We drank from the streams, the water that, of course, Tangaroa provides us, and talked about rongoā, different healing properties in our ngahere. It was really lovely, so I just wanted to mention that. That was why we had the session absence last week. And this week, like I said, we will be continuing with some pūrākau, but before we do that, let's just place ourselves in the here and now, and we'll look at our maramataka. In weeks 1 and 2, we looked at a dial, and I'm just holding up to the camera if you are going to be seeing this on Wairarapa TV or online, of course. The Tuhi Stationery brand is another one that has both our Gregorian calendar and our maramataka in it. And I just wanted to talk really quickly about how we use the two time systems together in terms of understanding where we are in place and time. So if you look at the very beginning, of course, you will have the months that we all recognise. And of course, we're currently in July, about to go into August. But then there are a couple of little symbols. One is a dark black circle for our new moon, and the other one is a light circle for our full moon. Those are the two indicators that I use to understand the placement of our Māori maramataka, our lunar calendar, in the Gregorian system that we all know. Now, if you're not using a resource, of course, you're hopefully looking up at the sky. And I'm only doing this because I haven't actually seen the moon this morning, although my kids tell me that it looks like about a half moon, and it's getting a little bit faded in colour. It doesn't look as bright and big as our big moons over the weekend just gone by. So I'm assuming we're coming into the last quarter, if I'm looking up at that, and very soon we're going to start seeing the bananas, as my girl Mare Kura likes to talk about. The banana moons before, of course, it almost looks like it's disappearing in terms of a full circle fade, and then the full circle will come back in the new moon whiro. Now, I'm looking at my key here, and I can see that on the 9th of August, so just over a week's time, we're going to be expecting that new moon again. So if that's whiro, the 9th, I work my way backwards and I can find where we are today. Ko te kore whakapiri a te marama, ko tata ki te here turi kōka o hongongoi I tēnei wā, o takurua hoki. Me tau, e tau, poipoi a te wairua me te hinengaro. This is a time of being settled as we're in the kore whakapiri moon of hongongoi tu here turi kōka, the time of takurua, so the wife of the sun, which is of course our winter maiden, and the colds and the frosts. May we be settled, and may we develop and grow healing for our wairua, our spirit and our mind. Toro atu kia rātou e noho pouri ana, kei raro hoki e pūtu ana. Look out for, care for and support those who are particularly sad or down at this time. Mahia ngā rauemi o te nuinga hei tautoko I te tangata ahakoa ko wai. When we're out and about, making sure that we're being really resourceful, making sure that we're connecting with each other as a collective strength during this time, koe nei te wā wānanga, because this is a time to discuss, to converse and to connect. E tuhi kia u ki te tito whakawhanui o whakaaro. A really good time to be writing, to be journaling, and to be reflecting our thoughts in different means, particularly in creative ways. Haere puku. E ako I ngā whakapapa me ngā mō tea whakaaro ngātahi. Me rite mō ngā rāpā kahu e heke mai nei. So that last bit is just telling us to learn, and in particularly to look back. So learning about history, maybe tapping into our archives at this stage, doing a bit of whakapapa stuff. It's a really good energy for all of that because kore is quite low. And it's also a really good time to fast for your body. You're not needing as much in terms of your carb. So lots of herbal teas, lots of water intake is a really good time to do that because very soon we're going into a high energy and it's the last quarter, our atua quarter that was spoken about in past. Of course, the atua quarter is all about being out and about, in particular with nature, as we go into the tangaroa lunar phases. The planting phases. Now, as we're talking about journals, the journal that I'm holding up to the camera, again, if you are watching live, is the Tuhi Mare Kura journal. There is also a Whatukura journal, Mare Kura for our wahine, or those who identify as feminine energy, and the Whatukura for those who identify with masculine energy. You can get these at www.tuhi.co.nz. And again, a disclaimer here, I'm here with my personal hat on, Te Atahia Hurihanga Nui, but also as my company, Reorua Limited. We do not have a collaboration professionally with Tuhi. However, I just vouch for how incredible they are. And if there's any chance I can start talking about resources that have enriched my life in any way and share that with the general public, then I'm going to do that. Hei oia no koutou mā, ko tēnei te wā tuatahi ka timata pia tētahi wāhanga I te reo Māori mo tēnei horopaki, te kahurangi. Nō reira, I ia wā ka tai mai au ki roto nei, ko taku tino wawata ki te kōrero I te reo, kia tukua te reo kia rere, kia koutou katoa. So from this session onwards, I'd like to start a new section as part of the hour that I have with you all listening in. And the little section after our maramataka reading is going to be a little snapshot of te reo. Te reo Māori that is relevant to the day or to the time or to the moment or to my mood, if you can bear with me in that. And so because I have been, of course, watching the Olympic Games, like most of us are at this time, or at least listening into the highlights and hearing the news, I thought I'd bring another resource, which of course I'll post up to Reorua on Facebook and make sure that we're commenting on it through the Arrow FM Facebook page. And it's this lovely resource that has been going around to all the teachers in our schools. I think it's really important that whatever our kids are seeing or at least being exposed to via the medium of our institutes of education, that we as parents, as whānau, as community see it as well. So this is a little resource called Ngā Taumā Heke Heke o Te Ao, Te Reo Māori, Words and Phrases for the Olympic Games and Physical Education. So it's got lots of different themed words, topical words and phrases. You've got the general words for things that you are going to see, hear about, etc. in relation to the Olympics. There are ceremonial words. There are single and combined events vocabulary. There are athletics and track and field vocabulary, water sports vocabulary. And then, of course, Olympics and team sports in general. So a couple of our words of the day that I've just chosen from here. Taumā heke heke. Taumā heke heke. I'm just going to say that one last time. Taumā heke heke. Now, a couple of notes on pronunciation here. The wonderful thing about Te Reo Māori is the written language was settled fairly recently. It's not a very old language, and it was in about the 1800s that it was developed. A number of different people were involved, Pākehā and Māori, and it was all kind of developed from the handwriting and notes taken by one of the very early settlers who was a surgeon. Now, the surgeon would, of course, hear Te Reo Māori and write down what he was hearing, so it is a phonetic language, and used the language that he knew to write that down and record, which was English. So all of the characters in Te Reo Māori, in terms of its written form, are the characters that we would find in English. Woohoo! In English, we have 26 letters. In Te Reo Māori, we have only 15. And within those 15, 2 are digraphs. That's the NG, which looks like 2 letters, but they're stuck together, pronounced as one sound, ng, and the WH again. Look like 2 different letters, but it's one, and it's one combined sound, f. Bearing in mind that these 2 letters, because of dialect, might sound different in different regions. For example, the ng of Ngai Tahu, our iwi down south, they will pronounce it as Kai Tahu, the k or k sound. And the f of Whanganui, well, if you're from Whanganui or from certain iwi around the Taranaki region, you're not going to pronounce it as a f, but instead as a w, the w sound in English. However, the lovely thing about this is that most of the sounds that we can see in the Māori alphabet are sounded out aloud in any word or phrase or sentence as they would be in English. For example, m for money or m for manu. Money in English, cash of course, or manu in Te Reo Māori, bird. Yeah, m. Another example, we had the K earlier, k for kite, something that we fly when there's a bit of wind in English. Ki for kahungunu, our local iwi authority. Yeah, we got the hang of that. The trick to mastering the pronunciation of Te Reo Māori, or the pronouncing of Māori words, is of course focusing your energy and attention on the vowel sounds, knowing that it's a phonetic language. So each of those 5 vowel sounds, a, e, I, or u, only have one sound each in their singular individual forms. They are a little bit elongated if there is a macron above them, which looks like an accent, but it's a long flat line. A becomes a, e becomes e, I becomes I, o becomes o, U becomes U. And they're really important because, of course, they change the word quite dramatically. We go back to the K. We've combined that with maybe an E afterwards. Keke is the Māori word for cake. Chocolate cake, vanilla cake, birthday cake, something I really enjoy eating. Put the macron on top of the E. Keke are your armpits, part of the anatomy, something that I don't enjoy eating at all, not to say that I've tried. Why am I telling you all about this? Well, now that we've got the te reo section in our hour, we will be looking at different pronunciation techniques. There might be a word of the day, a word of the week, a phrase, etc. But we need to start off with some basics. And so some of my reo lessons from Reo Rua will make their way into the Kahurangi Arrow FM program. And a really cool way to start today is, of course, using all of that knowledge and applying it to our word of the day, taumā heke heke. There is a macron on that second A, and remembering that a and u together have separate sounds, a, u, but when we combine it, it's really quick. Au, tau, taumā heke heke. The stress and focus is on the ma with the macron because it has a macron. Everything else will just drop off and it becomes quite rhythmic. Ngā taumā heke heke o te ao, the Olympic World Games. Okay, and another word of the day, I just think it's nice and fitting because, of course, most of the news coming through is who's winning and who's getting a medal. So the word for medal, tohu toa. Tohu toa. Tohu is another word for sign or symbol. Toa is something to be proud of, something elevated, something awesome, something strong. So tohu toa, and then you've got the three colours. Tohu toa koura is, of course, our gold medal. Koura has a macron on that first O. Tohu toa koura, gold medal. Tohu toa hiriwa, silver medal. Hiriwa, silver, transliteration. And tohu toa parahi, bronze. Parahi with a macron. One last time, ngā taumā heke heke o te ao, the Olympic Games or the World Olympic Games, International World Olympic Games, ngā taumā heke heke o te ao, and then our three medals, tohu toa koura, gold medal, tohu toa hiriwa, silver medal, and tohu toa parahi, bronze medal. Tēnā no tātou, tukua te reo kia rere. I'm just going to acknowledge our reo by playing a beautiful song that was released by the Pūkana crew and Maimoa Entertainment a few years ago now for Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, which is usually in September, so coming up soon. And it's in celebration of speaking Te Reo Māori. Of course, an acknowledgement of the 1972 language petition that was marched to Parliament by a number of Māori and non-Māori alike, you know, thousands of signatures wanting Te Reo Māori to be officialised and to be recognised as the official language of tēnei ao o Aotearoa. So here they are singing one of my absolute favourite songs, Maimoatia, or Maimoatia from Pūkana Whānau and the Maimoa crew.
E ora ai te reo, kōrero hia. E ora ai te reo, wai o te hia.
E noho tahia I tātou, I raro I ngā wawata o te reo.
No te reo, no ku te reo. The language is mine, the language is yours, the language is for everyone to share. Tēnā no tātou. Coming back into Kahurangi at Arrow FM, you're here with Te Atahia Hurihanga Nui, and we're speaking about the new part of our 1 hour show, which of course is Te Reo o Te Wā. So today we were looking at words for the Olympics, which I think connects back into our kōrero of atuatanga from last session, which was all about the different deities and the different beings that Te Ao Māori recognise as the creation of the universe, of the natural world, of the spiritual world, and of man. And we looked at the beautiful stories of Rangi and Papatuanuku's separation, the big wānanga that took place between their children, ngā atua Māori, and the decision those children made to separate them. The Big Bang happens, te pō ki te ao, and we have the universe and the natural world as we know it today. So in relation to that story, I just wanted to reference a resource which is a Facebook page actually in social media called Whare Wānanga with Timoti Pahi. So this is just a resource of his, and there's certainly a wānanga going on there. So if this next kōrero inspires you or resonates with you in whatever way, I highly recommend going into the page and maybe following the comments thread. There are lots of different takes on this, and I have referenced Mahia Atua, Mark Kōpua and Dai Kōpua in the past. So this is just a new reference that I've recently picked up. I haven't actually done any research into it, but I do resonate with some of the kōrero. I just wanted to talk about how you know, we as Māori during particularly this time of Olympics, because it's all about physical health and strength and, you know, our body's ability to do incredible things and how that might connect in with our atua. I certainly know as a mama of two young multilingual children, trying to connect in with their ao Māori is really easy for me because they're so in tune with the natural environment. And so talking about their attributes or their skills in relation to atua who have the whakapapa of those skills or the genealogy to those things, a really nice way for them to connect into their spirituality implicitly, if you like. So this one here is about the creation of Hine Ahuone. When Tāne created, I quote, when Tāne created Hine Ahuone, she received koha, gifts from every atua, god or elements, and atua rei, goddess. Uru te ngangana and Hine Rikoriko, god and goddess of the stars, gifted the pupils of the eyes. So humankind could see the light of their children, the stars, and the world around us. Tāwhiri Mātea and Hine Oho Mairangi, god and goddess of wind, gave the lungs of the body so humankind could breathe the air to sustain their lives that you are breathing in right now. Tūmatawenga and Hine Keira, god and goddess of war, gave the veins in the body so humankind could stand and protect themselves. Tangaroa, Hine Moana, god and goddess of the oceans. Tama te kapua, Hine te kapua, god and goddess of the clouds, so forth, until every atua and atua rei had given themselves into her, Hine Ahuone. We are the physical manifestation of the atua and atua rei. We were created from their love. Don't ever think you're alone. You are surrounded by love. Unquote, Timoti Pahi. So quite deep and beautiful. Certainly resonates with me as a mama trying to, you know, name things in a different way when I see my son Mario bouncing a basketball and then getting frustrated when he loses the coordination needed to sustain that up and down motion. You know, and we tap into how can we react? Do we want to be a 2 right now and have a bit of a shake off and get a bit angry and frustrated, or do we want to be a rongo right now and maybe be a calm presence and try and problem solve using tūmatauing as strategy and not necessarily his fighting? Do we want to be tāne and stand upright? You know, and acknowledge that trying to get the balls in the hoop when you're a little girl like my 3-year-old Maraikura is going to be quite challenging at first, but we're going to stand proud to at least try. Or are we going to be like Hine Te Iwa? Are we going to, instead of being the athlete, are we the supporter? Are we the coach? are we the teacher and the guide that allows that athlete to stand in their glory? So, really topical conversations at this time during the Olympics especially. We could use, of course, the words maybe that we've just learnt, and maybe some more in regards to the Olympics and Hakinakina, and relate that back to our atua. Talking about the Olympics, while it's not an Olympic, of course, many of our tupuna would have to, be healthy and well to get through their daily activities. And some of the things that they used, of course, were poi, to strengthen their wrist, their focus, their coordination, to warm up before having to go to war. So I'd like to just play this in acknowledgement of the Olympic Games, but maybe more than that, the whakapapa of sport itself and how it's developed and transformed over the years, over the decades, over the centuries, to what it is today. So I'm bringing you a beautiful classic from Pātea Māori Club, Poie. Tēnā tātou. Great classic from the 80s. Absolutely love that song, Pātea Māori Club, Poie, in recognition of our tupuna and the way that they created strength in their wrists, strength in their minds, strength in their souls before battle, before any sport or game of physical activity. We're talking about atuatanga and how we can maybe relate our knowledge of our atua, our whakapapa, the genealogies and the links and connections to them, and talking about physical health. I'm really mindful of this at the moment. My poor husband, Davide, is at home with a ruptured Achilles. And while that is, painful, for obvious reasons, but also painful to the wairua and to the mind, because David in particular is an active person. Having wānanga at this time is a really good thing to do to maybe sustain other parts of our tinana. And I think it was the tohu, a sign that he needed to slow down, to sit back and to do some learning. So really good time for that. And I'm just going to share a beautiful gem, a kahurangi from Rangitane. This is from our Pauareo course developed by myself, Uncle Mike Kawana, and a number of others. And this is from the writings of Joe Potangaroa from the Rangitane Education website in regards to where we can really hold our strength and be present in our own integrity. It's called Papa Tuanuku personified. In Te Ao Māori, the entire earth is Papa Tuanuku, the earth mother. Whether this is in her physical representation as the earth or within our consciousness of her as a spiritual being, or through all her mokopuna that dwell upon her, all flora and fauna are her grandchildren, the children of her offspring. For example, the birds and insects of the forest are referred to as the children of Tāne Mahuta. All life depends upon Papa Tuanuku for their well-being. People have the option of caring for her to maintain their own health or abandoning her to concentrate on their own short-term needs. Ultimately, an unhealthy Papa Tuanuku is going to lead to unhealthy people. By always keeping in mind the needs of Papa Tuanuku and the requirements of her immediate whānau, our people were able to appreciate what would happen to the land and to them if it was not kept in a natural or as natural a state as was possible. They only needed to look as far as their own bodies to understand how the earth would react if either were not looked after properly. From here in the Wairarapa Valley, our kaumātua tell us to take a close look at the skin on our body. We can see that it is neither smooth nor flat. I can certainly vouch for that. That's my words, by the way. Our skin is like the land, rising and falling like the peaks and valleys. The elders say, look at the Tararua Ranges high above us, then to see how the mountains descend to the flat plains and the valleys, only to rise again in the east on the Weraiti Hills. This is the land. It is Papa Tuanuku. The land and our skin are very similar. They then say to look at their hair, or the hair that covers our bodies, the covering that keeps us warm and provides protection, just like the grasses and trees upon the earth. It does not take long to begin to understand what the kaumātua are impressing upon us. They remind us that Tāne Mahuta covered his mother in a cloak of trees and plants to keep her warm. In her cloak he placed his children to accompany her. The kaumātua say, look at the hills that have no cloak. Papa Tuanuku's skin is left unprotected there. It will become dry and it will fall away. Our skin peels after too much sun, of course. It is the same as with Papa Tuanuku, but we call this erosion. Next, they ask if we know the purpose of the arteries, veins and capillaries in the human body, to which we are able to say yes. These vessels carry the blood and oxygen or the life force around the body. They contain the antibodies that purify our blood. Then they ask us to think of Papa Tuanuku as a human again. The waterways that cover Papa Tuanuku acts in a similar fashion. They provide the nutrients and water to the soils, plants and animals. They cleanse the land of impurities by washing them out to sea. They transport the gravels washed down from the mountains into the rivers and further out to sea. The Ruamahanga River is the main artery from which all the other rivers such as the Waipoua, Waiawangawanga, Taweru and Whangaehu enter. These rivers are in turn fed by the many creeks and streams, just the same as the veins in the human body. Part of this learning was to consider the effects of sickness upon our bodies and then translate these illnesses to Papa Tuanuku. It was soon apparent that she too was vulnerable to the whole range of health problems experienced by mankind. Among many other illnesses, her veins became blocked, as in the case of slips or debris gathering in rivers, such as seen during the storms of February 2004, and her blood could be poisoned, as when pollutants find their way into the waterways, and we can no longer swim in them like we once did. The only time she has a good clean out is when it rains or during storms. If people wanted their mother to care for them, then they had to minimise the risk of her becoming sick. Sometimes the elements, her children, the atua, combine to help their mother. In so doing, they flush away the paru, the dirt, processes that man has no control over and should perhaps be resigned to accepting as being a part of the earth. That was Papa Tuanuku personified, developed by Joe Pōtangaroa and others at Rangitane Runanga or Wairarapa. I want to finish with the messages and that beautiful story and how we can connect into our incredible histories and stories of Atua, the elements and the gods of Te Ao Māori, in terms of reflecting and understanding our own physical health in relation to the natural environment around us. Some who are doing that more openly, more communicatively and more explicitly than others. I just want to mention here, Joe Pōtangaroa is obviously one of them. Sam Ludden, Raihania Tipoki, some of our Wairarapa kahurangi. There are a number of initiatives that they are running and involved in and leading at the moment. I know that Sam Ludden has just released his Moko Moko program to our schools and to our rangatahi of Wairarapa. Tēnā koe, Sam. Mo o pūkenga maha me tō tino aroha kia tātou, kia mātou te ao Māori o Wairarapa. Raihania Tipoki down at Lake Ferry is having a big planting session this weekend for the Tangaroa Moon. So if you're interested, please contact me via Reorua and I will link you up. Or of course, if you've got Raihania Tipoki's contact details, email him. He's certainly looking for some numbers to plant some native trees on our papa. Down at the lake this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I do want to now finish with a beautiful song as we head into our big last quarter, if you like, of the Maramataka. And this song was actually produced for a Hone Tūwhare album that came out a few years ago when I was at high school, just a few years. And this song, of course, is called Papa Tuanuku as a way of closing our kaupapa for today. It is written by Hone Tūwhare, sung by my father, Hone Hurihanga Nui. Nō reira, ko tēnei te mihi nui, te mihi maioha, kia koutou e whakarongo mai ana, kia te atahia, kia kahurangi o Arrow FM. Ko tātou reo o tātou kōrero, ko Wairarapa tēnei, tēnā anō tātou katoa.
Papa Tuanuku, we are stroking, caressing the spine of the land. We are massaging the wicked back of the land with our sore but ever loving feet. She loves it, squirming the marigold, yeah, in delight. We love her. Sore, whatever loving feet. Hell, she loves it, squirming the land wriggles, yeah, in